So many Americans do not know who he is. But every African person that I have met, from the guy who makes some of my gowns, he's Senegalese, the guy who brought me here from the airport, they all know who Omar Ibn Said is, and we don't.
Before I went full-time into opera, I was in Appalachian music. So my agent sends me this email, "We have an audition for you for an opera called Omar by Rhiannon Giddens." And I went, "The Rhiannon Giddens?"
I was just filling out applications, and then I started reading about Omar by Rhiannon Giddens. I was like, oh, it's a Black opera, which for people who don't know, like, there's not a ton of those out there.
It is an opera about people of color, about a Black person. Very few and far between. I get to see representation of who I am and where I come from. The story of Omar contradicted how slavery was perceived. To know that he could read and write is just mind-blowing.
It was really, really important for him to not forget, to write down exactly what happened to him. In Omar's mind, he did not see Black people in rags and barefoot as they were described in books, in sketches, and paintings. We see the characters on the stage the way that Omar would see them. Everyone looking like royalty, because in his country, that's what we look like. During slavery, I know that there were many that came from Senegal and West Africa who were Muslim. When they arrived here, they were stripped of their language. They were stripped of their culture, their names, their God. We weren't just a Christian nation. There were many, many different types of religions in the beginning of the settlement of the United States as well.
Omar kept his faith. The owners that he had tried to convert him, tried to make him give it up and assimilate to what they wanted him to be, and he didn't. And even though I'm not Muslim, I have taken that with me. There were so many times that many of us in rehearsal, that some of us just wept. You can't help but to feel spiritually moved. For me personally, my dad was passing from cancer. In the scene with the middle passage, we are up on the slave ship and we say a line, "To the unknown infinite, where we shall live in never-ending splendor." And it was just like, there is something better after this.
Given the space to be able to not simply honor Omar as an ancestor, but also my own family lineage and my primary dance form, which is house dance, which a number of the movements have their roots in this area as well. There's a particular part in Act 2 where all the elements of Black American dance forms that have ever existed compress and exist in one moment in time.
As a culture, we've had this in us. It's been translated and passed down through our bloodlines, through history, through community. It's just part of me.
I do a lot of ancestral and Orisa dance, which is based on the spirits from Yoruba land, which is now currently Nigeria. So I'm just feeling those movements through my body and what will my ancestors do if they were in this moment. Back in the day, when we would have dances and movement, we would use it as a way to communicate with one another. If you want to connect with somebody, that's what you would do. You would pass each other. Say hi. How you doing? I know it's been rough. We good?
I recently lost my mom, and in the first production of Omar, the spirit was not dancing on the stage, but now the spirit is, and the spirit represents our ancestors. So immediately I'm out there, I'm singing the first note, and I completely just broke down. It was heavy, and everyone just surrounded me, and we're all hugging. It's a huge sense of community where we just feel like one on that stage.
If Omar's your first opera, it's a great opera to be a first opera because it's so relevant right now. I think it's going to be relevant for years to come because the work we need to do to dispel the ideas of superiority and colonialism, let's hope we get there sooner than later.
Being able to step into the shoes of our ancestors for this production, to be on the stage and to tell Omar's story is kind of saying, like, we won't be erased.
The story of our ancestors brought over into the slave trade, it's almost like there was nothing left of us even trying to investigate where I've come from, where my family comes from. A lot of stuff is lost. His writings and what he believed and what he lived is still available, and I'm actually able to represent that and wear it.
Being here in North Carolina, this is the culmination of his journey. This is where his life ended. He came to this place. He was exactly here on this campus. His resting place is not too far from here, maybe a half-hour drive or so. That is profound in a way that can never be lost on any of us. History is messy. It's complicated on purpose because human beings are complicated. And I just hope that people will walk away being able to sit in that complication and kind of understand what that is and accept it. This is folks have lived, they have died, they've had children, they've raised families, and found a way in a space of no way. Like Omar, being able to still maintain a level of self-possession, even when everything that you know of yourself is being completely dispossessed, that alone is worth honoring.